Right folks, welcome back. Now it's time to finish off the painting by adding a nice bright foreground and one or two autumn colours where the leaves have fallen off the trees. Nice bright yellow and the size 20 again, and the colour is actually called, it's a mouthful this one, aureolin, or however you say it, it's up to you.
Ori what?
Okay. Ori what? Aureolin. It's a lovely bright yellow, and you can see that there, can't you? Like, it's a nice yellow. Put some of the natural blue with it, you get a nice green coming through there. Just pop that on there so you can see. Literally just sweep it in the foreground. Your paper's dry at this point. Take it back towards the horizon at the back there. Once I've pretty much done the green, I want to work in there some of the autumn colours just so it looks as though it's all fitting together. So pop a little bit of autumn colour in there. Back to the green maybe. Actually mixing the colours on the paper for this one. I'm not going all the way to the back quite, because what I'll do just there is clean my brush, wipe it on tissue so it's just damp, and use the tip of the brush and just very lightly, almost rest on your table to do this, and just lightly sort of blend it back towards those background trees. It's going to give a basic meadow to this. Even getting some pure yellow right in the foreground so it's nice and bright.
So that initial green that you put on is like wetting that
it is, yeah,
part of the paper as well.
That's spot on, that's exactly what it is, perfect. I'll let that dry off. Very quickly I'll come back and put a few little bits of detail on there. Okay, so nice and dry again for that one there. And this is a size 4, this brush. And I'm just going to mix some blues and some yellows and just get a bit of a darker green maybe. I'm using the colours what's actually in the palette for this one. It's the blue and the yellow together. Bit of a dry brush, which is picking the paint up and spotting it on some tissue first. And just very lightly adding one or two little flicks to the bottom this. Horizontal brush strokes, almost hovering over your paper as you do this one, and catching it every now and again. If you focus in the foreground at the bottom of the paper, it just helps it lead back into the distance. It's not going to do a great deal. I could use the brown as well from the trees. Just at the bottom of the trees there, just lightly stroke it over the actual edge there. And this is why you use a textured paper for this reason, to get this texture, this dry brush texture, you see, as you work down. It just takes the hardness away, really. Pop that away, and back to the tree brush again. Nice and dry. Back to the yellow, which is called
Orinoco.
Orinoco. Aureolin. The yellow and the blue together, nice and strong this time, and really give it some of that. Look at the brush, you can see it's all open and it's a bit scruffy looking. It's nice and open, and it's got a taller side versus a lower side. Using the taller side of the brush, I'm going to very lightly in the corners, just lightly stroke up. It's just going to put the odd little bit of grass growing, build it up in the corners, and lightly bring it down towards the centre. Helps to give a little bit of foreground. Even put some little sort of, I don't know, reeds or something growing up. If you get a little bit of the brown there, you can fiddle around as much as you like. I'll let you. Just going to put little sort of tappy bits of the brownie colour there. It just helps to give little, I don't know, flowers, reeds or something in, just growing in the foreground. It helps it to drag back into the distance.
Is it a case of less is more with that as well?
It can be, yeah. It's almost framing the picture like a vignette, it's sort of dragging you through the centre. Pop a little mount on, you can see how it's just starting to make a nice little scene there. Alright, let's see how Nigel gets on. Right, Nigel's turn now, so let's get this grass on there. So again, large brush, nice, rich, natural, grassy green colour.
It's a bit washy.
Yeah, a bit too pale, more water. Sorry, more paint. More yellow.
More.
That's better. There you go again.
Try again.
All the way across the bottom, that's better. Look at this, we're not playing games now. Look. We're doing it. Just clean your brush off and just wipe it across some tissue there. And just use your brush like a blending brush, and you can just take it up towards the back and to the sides. There you go. On this one, it's very flat at the minute.
Right.
It's like a wall that needs to come out towards us. Okay. Any ideas how we can make it do that?
With the yellow?
Get the yellow at the bottom. Work it across.
You get gold star for that.
All the way across. Let it disappear back itself, and that's closer than this at that point, and you can see that distance in there, really. Yeah. So that needs to dry off.
Okay.
Well done. Right, so that's nice and dry, and you can really see how the foreground's coming out towards you. Perfect, well done on that one. It wants the grasses on, so that's using your tree brush, Give it some of that.
Stab.
Tap, 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 tap.
Tomato ketchup.
Open your bristles. That's that. Tomato
Yeah.
ketchup.
Okay.
The writing goes to the bottom.
Oh, right, we didn't.
Using the tall
we're
hairs
flicking
and
that
very
way.
lightly stroking your paper. That's it. Yep. You've got it. Do whatever you see fit on this one. As long as it's across your foreground, you can work along. That's it. Well done. Lovely.
Okay.
You can imagine that's quite good for doing things like waterfalls, flowing water, that sort of thing. Even a snow picture, put little bits of grasses poking through your snow, and it really gives the impression as though it's getting the foreground detail. Smaller brush number 6, and then we're going to use some of the green you've just been working with. Dry brush, which is picking it up, taking it off.
Okay.
Put the brush flat to your hands. Almost pick your brush up like this off your table,
That way.
and almost kind of work flat. Scuff your paper. That's it. You might need to use some of this colour.
Yeah, it's got.
That's dry, very dry in there, isn't it? And just mix some of that in with this, just to freshen things up, because that is actually a better colour there. It's a little bit darker colour. Just
Quite a
mix-
tricky technique to get that bit, isn't it?
Dry brush it's a tricky one, but it's one of the most common techniques in watercolours because it's got so many uses.
Yeah.
Even doing a dry stone wall, put a bit of that over the top, and it makes it
Yeah.
look more natural.
Mhm.
Water, anything, trees. That's it, it's working nicely.
Okay.
Obviously, want some at the bottom there. It's understanding the way the brush works, the way the paper works. I always tell people to use one set of brushes and one type of paper, and you get used to the way it works. Rather than buying all different papers, just stick to the one. That's it. That's
Okay.
nice. We'll do some burnt sienna dry brush as well. Same thing again. It's just wiping it on the side of your tissue there. Take it off. Remember the dry brush was around the bottom of the trees.
So this time going downwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Working across that straight line you've got, giving it a bit of rough. You smile.
All right,
then.
got it.
Got a
Yeah,
little
bit of-
smile out
bit
of
of-
it. And there's a teeny
bit of
one. Just a teeny one. That's it. And then a few little spots for some flowers. Brown flowers. You don't see many of them, do you?
Not really, no.
I think that makes all the difference. It just seems to pull everything into context, and it makes a lovely little distance. It's amazing how far you can go back from there to there now.
Mm.
It's really taking you through. Well done. While Harry and Mandy finish off their paintings, let's have a quick recap. Painting the meadow using a mixture of aureolin and natural blue, and add a touch of burnt sienna while the paper's still damp. Use a dry brush technique to add some texture, and finally add some foreground interest with the tree and texture brush and the colours in your palette. Right, so well done to all three of you. This is Harry's painting. What do you think?
Well, it actually looks better from a distance now because it looks as if the sun's setting and it's bringing the light up from the back.
I think you can always kind of look back on your paintings. It always looks better when you walk away from them without question. Things to mention about this one, I think it was too much water.
Definitely.
Too much water, so that's something to bring into the next one. Maybe a bit more gentle with your brush strokes as well.
Yeah.
But apart from that, first ever painting, well done.
Excellent. Want to buy it?
Yeah, how much? How much for cash? Right, so this one is Mandy's painting. Obviously Mandy's done some painting before now. What do you think about this one?
I do like it, but now it's up there, I can see that I've done that a bit.
It's obvious that you've actually worked
The windscreen
with a slight
wiper
sort
effect.
of slope, almost
Yeah.
rainbowy kind of thing. It's not a major problem. It
No.
works as a painting. It still takes you into the scene. Nice depth, nice flowers. It actually works pretty well, your picture. Thing to take away, it's quite a very definite straight line. Maybe the dry brush at the bottom would have been a bit more on that one. But it's all simple things that you can come back and fix, really. So,
Yeah,
well done.
thank you.
Right, Nigel, this is your masterpiece. What do you think?
It seems heavy in the middle.
You seem to be really drawn into the centre of your picture. Even this blue brushstroke, it sort of drags you through to the middle. It's got a nice distance to it, I've got to say. And that's happened with this blue line, as though it's coming down. It's almost framing the picture, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
As regards criticism, I think, again, a bit like Harry, just a little bit more gentle with your brushstrokes, okay? But apart from that, well done.
Thank you.
A massive well done, folks, on your first watercolour painting. I've got some homework for you, which is to practice the dry brush technique. It's a really popular and common technique in watercolour painting and well worth practicing. The secret is to dab off most of the paint off your brush on some tissue and just skim the side of the brush over the surface of the paper so it catches here and there. I really hope you've enjoyed this first episode, and I hope you've got the inspiration and confidence to get started in watercolour painting. I'll see you next week. for an episode in painting a sunset picture. So I'll see you next time, and it's a goodbye from these three as well. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, there we go, folks. My very first masterpiece. Really just a bit of colour with some grass at the bottom, but I'll get better.
I can't believe, never having painted before, that after just an hour you can do something like this. I'm really pleased with it.
Well, I feel like I've got a bit of an edge on the other two because this is obviously the second series we've done, and I do think they've improved, and I'm still impressed, and it's definitely going on my wall with the others.